Welcome everybody, and as always, happy to be here with you. I'm Anne, joining you from Greece today, and I have a wonderful, beautiful, special guest, Mooney, all the way from Arizona, US. It is Wednesday when we are going to put this video out to broadcast it. Wednesday, March 27th, 2024. And we will talk about Corinne's story, her spiritual work, and all of her experiences. And I can promise you, this is a gold mine of information and experiences. So stay tuned. You are watching Cosmic Guardians. We are coming to you with a pre-recorded video today. We are usually going on live, but once in a while, we're going to have this option too, to pre-record because it's handy.
Great.
And we will be with you, maybe both of us or one of us, during the time of the broadcast on Wednesday, March 27th. And that would be 8 p.m. my time in Greece. And you can see in the event section, I make sure that you will know when we are going to be broadcasting this video. Last week, we talked about how can we find true love. So it's kind of interesting. It's like a continuing story coming on here with someone who is way more experienced than me. And we answer your questions. We did answer your questions and mini readings live on air. So here we go, guys. This is exciting. Let's welcome special guest Corinne Mooney, who is the creator of Liquid Energy Healing Light Center, located in Mesa, Arizona in the US. Healing Light, the light part stands for L, learned, I, integrated, G, guided, H, healing, and T, therapy. So let's welcome Corinne. Hi, Corinne. How are you?
Hi, and thank you. I am so blessed to be able to be on with you again. Interesting Celestine prophecy got us together after all these years. And so, boy, do I love that stuff. And welcome to everybody that is joining us. I appreciate you. I feel you. And I'm hoping that you may have some words of inspiration today.
I am sure everybody will, and so will I promise. Just a little bit of memories here. Corinne was a guest. I don't know if it was one time or two times.
Just one. We were going to do two, and then things started going different.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I used to make radio. That's
Yes.
why I kind of try to say things in an odd way sometimes. It's sitting in my bones, right? So trying to give away websites and stuff so people can understand. But we had a radio Soul Sisters show on Blog Talk Radio, and we had the honor to have Corinne as a guest. And my co-host was my beautiful, loving soul sister, Sue Schumacher. And she unfortunately crossed over last year. So it's a year now. But here we go. And I know she's with us. I know. I can feel her.
Oh, yes. She's quite a spirit. She really is.
Yeah, she is. So I'm very curious about, because I know we have been talking about the Celestine prophecy, and on my end, that was the first book. It's a series actually, but I when you read the first one, you can't stop and you have to continue and you need to learn more. That was so intriguing. And I think I read it the year 2000 in the millennium shift. It's kind of weird that too. And I chose at that point to consciously seek, and it talks a lot about energies. Just a few days ago, I found a video of the film, the movie. So
That's
I
great,
posted
yeah.
it. Yeah, it's absolutely wonderful. How did you start your journey?
My journey. Well, I think I was born first, and then everything else just kind of sort of happened. When did I actually have the privilege of stepping into my true self? It was after my divorce, and then going to massage school. And while I was in massage school, at the end of that 1,500 hours, a friend asked me if I, and at that time, I wasn't interested. But I took it just to have it, because the thing she said was, once I have that training, I can touch people and not pick up their energy. Because as an empath, when we're around people, we pick all that up. And I thought, well, I'd be touching a lot of people. And so I needed that protection. And that's how I actually got into Reiki. I had no idea that it would be opening the rest of my spiritual life. that was quite an interesting journey.
It is actually interesting. And I took Reiki, the first Reiki, for the same reason as you. Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
Because everyone kept telling me it's going to open the path for you. It's going to help you. You're going to feel more protected. You're going to be able to help people. But it was my primary goal, having the first Reiki, was to sort myself out, to be honest.
Well, after I had my second attunement, I still wasn't sure that that's where I was going to be working. And I asked a client of mine if I could practice on her. And at that time, I was also thinking about becoming a myopractor. So I was going to continue my education in that field. And as working on her, at the foot of the table, there was this huge glow. And from that glow, I hear this voice say, "This is where I want you to work." Now, when I started working with her, I would ask her, "Are you feeling this? And are you hearing your body move and feeling it move?" And she said, "Yes." When we started, she had a slight case of scoliosis. And when we were finished, she didn't. And it was like, began my journey to find a Reiki master of my lineage in the Mesa area, which took almost 2 years. And then it took me another year before she attuned me to master. It's a journey. And now it is evolving into working more with the soul and working, interdimensionally. And when people say, "Well, what dimension do you work with?" All of them. 12th is where I kind of resonate from, but all of them. I get information from. I must be an open receiver because it's wonderful.
You are indeed, and you are open, and you have a wonderful energy.
Thank you. So do you.
Oh, thank you. So I think coming back a little bit to your lineage, your Reiki lineage, it's interesting because nowadays there's so many different Reiki modalities.
Correct.
To say. But I think just as you, I don't have a huge lineage. Actually, I was fortunate to have it in Stockholm from a Swedish lady who took it from a lady in Canada who had taken it from, I have to read here. Maybe I don't have it here. Anyway, I think from Mrs. Takada, maybe it was not someone she gave it to, but I have the information that the lady, because she's quite mature in age now. I don't know if she's still with us or not. Wanda Tuan.
Yes.
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 Yeah.
And mine,
So
I was
You're
fortunate. Yeah, I was fortunate to have my first attunements from a student that studied with Mrs. Takada's granddaughter. So it was Mrs. Takada's granddaughter, Phyllis Formoto, her student, and that's who was my teacher. I feel very privileged to have been able to be in the original line of Reiki, and it has really changed my life.
Yeah. So what are your perception of original Reiki and all of these modalities that are popping up?
Okay. When Mrs. Takada died and there was a break in the line, there were a lot of people that started doing Reiki with their own intention and adding things and leaving things out. And therefore, after 1980, it became a little bit diluted. And it's really important when you don't add or subtract anything from the original, because that was what came straight through. And there are a lot of wonderful people that haven't been trained that way, that because they're wonderful people do that. But it's difficult to find somebody that is really heart and soul, I guess I would say.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. And I know my own teacher in Stockholm, and I waited 16 years before I took the second. Isn't that funny?
That's
with the
perfectly
same.
okay.
Yeah, and I found her, the same woman. I never got to become a Reiki master because, sometimes it's going to give us to other directions. So that's how it came about for me. But I remember she said to me she would take me on, but it would take a year and it takes time. And I think that
It does.
Yes, sometimes we are pushing things too fast. We want to know everything. We are impatient. But everything is a process, and we need to adjust to what we are doing. We need to learn and understand. We can't do that in a week, right? Or a month.
Yes, my teacher told me that I had to master myself before I could become a master. And so I did exactly as she instructed me to do, and I'm very grateful for that. It has opened up a whole lot of amazing things. When I do the soul interpretation, I always touch the person with Reiki first, because that's where the energy, that's where it flows. It flows from there. And it gives me an opportunity to then communicate with their soul. And basically, we all know what we need to know. We just don't listen, hear, or allow. And I kind of, okay, you're getting a message here. This is what it's saying to you. So I basically translate what they're trying to say to themselves that they're not hearing. So it's a beautiful,
Yeah.
beautiful intervention. Yeah.
Soul work is wonderful, to be honest. And one who can tap into the soul of someone else can help a lot. And you are helping a lot doing that work.
I've had some wonderful experiences, and it's very humbling and a real privilege to be able to be that intimate with a person, and then to watch them respond. It's, yes, I'm very, very blessed. Yes.
Wonderful. So you have a huge history of being, studies, and you're certified in many different areas. Tell us a little bit about them.
Well, I started out in massage and very dedicated to becoming the best professional I could be. So I have been certified, to work with people with fibromyalgia and cancer and babies and ADD and all of these types of things. And that was the avenue on which I was moving for a very long time, always having the Reiki. And people would say, "Why does your massage last so long?" That's the Reiki. That's the Reiki. And but now I am mostly dedicated to working with the soul energy, and the personal mastery is a wonderful thing. I'll work with a person for maybe a year or more, and it's in conversation, and it's in helping them regain a different way. And when I say regain, they already know, but sometimes we have to be reminded. And I guide them to look into themselves to become the best they can be. And especially with empaths, and how to set your boundaries and still be open. So it's been a journey, and I'm very blessed that I have a dear friend that has allowed me to practice on her. So it's really coming together, and more and more people are realizing that once they master themselves, they don't need anything from the outside.
No. And it's wonderful to hear you say that, because many people, because I work as a psychic, talk to a lot of people every week, almost at least four days a week. And many people are seeking happiness outside.
Mhm.
It's never going to come from the outside. It doesn't happen. So
No.
it's coming from in here. And also we are a match to a certain vibration, right? So when we want to see a change in our life, we need to start here within.
It's Joe Dispenza uses a good phrase, and I'm going to use it. You have to change your mind. Now, that's not with affirmations. They work, but you literally have to change your mind, which changes the chemicals and the chemistry in your body, which allows you to really move forward. And it's a slow process, but when it happens, it's amazing, because it's like you just wake up, and you've taken the right matrix pill.
Yeah, we have a matrix, haven't we?
Correct. Yeah.
So, and you also love a lot to work with I stated as relationship coaching, but you say actually couples coaching, right?
Yes, I was given one morning. I woke up at 4:44 in the morning and was told to write. And I wrote out this, I don't like to call it a course or a class, but it was all this information to help couples reignite the passion and the purpose in their life. And it's taking your relationship from fine to fantastic. And after we get married, you get into a kind of a rut, and learning how to bring that intimacy back into the relationship. And we have a wonderful time. I spend all day with them. I teach them how to eat. So they're, bringing out that emotion and how to move and everything. Yes, I love it. Yes. It's
It's
now,
wonderful. Sorry, I interrupted you. Please.
and when you create a new, really true intimacy in the spiritual sense, then what you do in the physical sense is all, you do that somewhere else. So but it really enhances the whole relationship.
And I think it's wonderful because we are not really taught in this world how to bring our soul forward and
That's
how to
true.
connect with others at a soul level, right? Because we are coming from the logic mind. That's what we are usually taught to be. It doesn't really matter where we are. We follow conventions, we follow patterns, family patterns, society, and sometimes we can get lost in all of that.
That's
Daily
true.
life.
And then especially when the universe invites all of us indigos in, and then we really mess things up, don't we?
Yeah, we do.
But yes, and I love working with indigos. A lot of times they don't even know they're an indigo, and they just don't fit in. And then when they understand a little bit more about it, they go, "Yeah, I fit in perfectly. I just don't fit into your in. I have my own in to fit in." Yes.
Yeah, a lot of people actually feel like they are coming from somewhere else and they feel like an alien, and that's my childhood. Even though I had a good childhood, I can't complain.
Yeah.
So
Well, we
I
could
think
do
it's
about we could do about 6 shows on being not from this place. So that's a whole nother subject, which is wonderful. Yeah.
yeah, and I think we can talk about that another time, right? But
Absolutely.
most are not from here. So
Yes.
and that's with the relationship, and you have seminars with conscious dating. That's intriguing for me because what to look for.
Exactly. The way that we're taught to look for a companion is run by the media, and you can't find sincerity and integrity when you look that way. So it came to me that people are, and when they're going out, they're always looking for the same type or the same thing that pulls their interest, and then they miss the ones that are the real treasures. And I think you find that in your profession a lot, when the person changes what they think
Yeah.
that's the only thing they can accept, then somebody that doesn't fit that exact look comes in, and they're magic.
Yeah. I actually have a very recent story. I had a lady calling me. She have called me a few times, and sometime in January talked about relationships and love, and she didn't feel lucky with finding. And I said to her, you made a great deal of transformation for yourself, so you are aware of it. And my senses told me that, and I could see a vision of a man, right? I see someone coming in for you, but he's not going to be your usual type.
Thank
So,
goodness.
so I said, don't step into fear, because give him a chance, because once you get to know him, you're going to feel that you do align with each other on most levels. And if we have some differences sometimes, that can actually add to the relationship. It's not nice to be too similar, is it? Because
No.
there's no growth.
No growth at all. No.
And she called me back recently and said to me, you were correct. I just have a little bit of a difficulty, so I need to talk through. this part where he's not my usual type. But she could feel every area. They could feel chemistry, connection, the depth of conversations, feeling intimacy, all of those things. Of course, it's still fresh. But I said, just go for it. It's your decision, it's not mine. But if I would be you, I would give this person a real chance. And I think that, as I always say, we have experience and we don't have our soul memory with us here. So we remember our experiences and our physical reality, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when it comes to meeting something that is different, we tend to step into fear because we don't really know what it is.
And there again, that's where I really love talking about and teaching the 4 agreements, because one of the things is we've been programmed by other people since before we were born, how we're supposed to act, how we're supposed to respond, how we're supposed to do things. And that's not really what your soul came to do. So when you can step out of constantly living from what was in the past, and that's where changing your mind comes in.
Yes.
That you now are living in the now. I know that gets played a lot, but some people don't understand what that means. Because when you make a decision, you're actually making it from something that happened in the past that doesn't really relate to what's happening now. And being able to get to that point where you are now making decisions just from that particular point, it really makes a difference. But it's a journey to get there.
It is a journey, but it can be an exciting journey.
Oh, yes.
And I also think that when we are aware that we have fear for something, awareness is always wonderful. It doesn't mean we are going to punish ourselves, right? But it means that, okay, I caught myself.
And
now
that's
I know
it.
I'm going to correct. Yes.
It's catching yourself. It's
yes.
A lot of times when I'm speaking to someone, I call them my crew. They'll kind of shut my mouth and I have to go, okay, what word do you want me to use? Okay. And when you start catching yourself and not using the same idea, the same thing, that's when you know that you're making progress. It becomes interesting. It does look a little strange when you're in mid-conversation with someone to go, oh, excuse me, I'm talking to the other guys right now. But they benefit because then the words come out right.
Yeah. And we talked a little bit about your certifications, and you are an intuitive soul interpreter. That's wonderful. You're a spiritual teacher. You are an inspirational speaker, and you write poems. I know you write beautiful poems. I've seen
Thank you. That was written the night before I was being attuned as a Reiki master teacher.
Oh, wow.
That came to me, that night, and that was my journey from there to here. I also have in the process of writing my son's book. Jimmy was a special soul, and he came in with a mission, and he was only had to stay here 11 years. So helping him through his transition gave me the ability to be able to help other people through, especially children, making their transition. And when I was writing Jimmy's book, I didn't have a title for it, but as I read it, I realized that in 11 years of many, many surgeries, heart surgery, surgeries on his hands, all kinds of things, never once did he ask for any pain medication. He never complained. He never said, why me? He never said, I'm tired of seeing doctors. So the book is Jimmy's Courageous Heart, and it is written as a children's book. So a parent can read it to the child, but it's really for the parents, for them to understand that, especially when a child makes a transition, it's not hard for them, and it's a beautiful experience. So I've also had that experience.
Yeah, and it is hard for us who are grown-ups.
Yes.
But I think that your son was he was an angel when he came here.
Oh, anyway. He came with a heavy duty job to do, and he did it very well. Very well. Yes.
Mhm.
So
It's beautiful that one can help someone transition, but that goes with Reiki as well. So you can help someone have an easier transition over to the other side.
I actually had a client that had terminal melanoma, and hospice put him on, or he went into hospice, and they would come every day saying, okay, well, you got about 3 days to live. You got about 6 hours. That's what they do. They kind of prepare you. And I said, Scott, I said, is that what you really, really want? And he says, no, I've got things to do. And I said, okay. So he started coming to me every week for Reiki. He went a year and a half past his death date. And I told him when he was ready to make his transition, call me, that I would be there with him. Because after Jimmy passed, I had the privilege of being able to step into the other side. So I sat with him, and he'd say, well, how are we doing, partner? And I said, Scott, I said, I want you to see what I see, and I want you to feel what I feel. And his wife came in and asked him if he wanted any medication. He says, nope. He says, I've got an appointment. And so I literally stood there with him at the threshold as he passed over.
Oh, wow.
And I don't know how to put that on a business card.
No, it's a very special experience, but
Yes.
it's a gift you have, and you can be there with them.
Yes.
Yes, it's a beautiful gift. And I think you got it from your son, right?
Oh, absolutely. I had another wonderful experience. I was invited to come to this place in Phoenix. It's a house that's been converted for the families and children of a terminal ill child. And the massage school provides massage and yoga and counseling and things like that free for the parents and then for the children. And I was there for an open house, and I had this beautiful soul sit in front of me. And after we did the Reiki, and I held her hand, and I said, what does your soul want to say to you? And she could not get the words out. And she was holding back the tears. And I just kept looking at her. And this feeling of overwhelming love seemed to just pour into me and through to her. And I said, I know what you're saying to me. I hear you. I hear you. And what she was screaming is, my child is dying. My child is dying. And she couldn't even put the words to it. And so after a while, this love that was just filling her. And then I started telling her about Jimmy. And on the day of his surgery, he escaped from his room, hijacked a wheelchair, and was sailing up and down the halls in the hospital, singing at the highest voice he had, saying hello to everybody. And they had to, track him down. And then a smile came. And it was the most incredible experience. Reiki is just a wonderful, wonderful a way to share that love. So I'm very blessed. Very blessed.
You're very blessed. And I think sometimes it feels like Reiki is a little bit overlooked these days. It's like people don't think it's strong enough, but it is. It's powerful.
Well, that's because their experience has been with someone that is not really flowing the Reiki, and they call it that.
Yeah.
I mean, I could go out and do handstands and call it Reiki, and tell everybody if they did handstands, they'd be flowing the Reiki. But there's something different when you really have the attunements and they're real. It's different. It really is different.
It's powerful.
Beyond that, I try to explain to people it's like having a bolt of lightning running through my body 24/7, and that's the energy that's there. Yes.
Yeah. And I know when I do, I usually do it on a distance these days. But when I do it on a person, you can feel things coming from them. If there's something I can feel, for instance, for me, it's coming as a cold area or something. But my hands are getting really hot. Sometimes people say, can you please not hold over my eyes or something? Because it's coming so much energy. It's hot.
When someone comes in the first time, I invite them not to tell me anything, because I want to know that when I pick things up, that it's coming strictly from what I'm picking up and not something that they may have said to me. It's kind of unusual. They say they've never had that happen before. And I said, well, that way then I know it's pure. It's pure.
And one can feel it
Yes.
for sure. You are doing sorry for my voice, doing a lot of other things like guided heart meditation. Intrigued by that.
I started that about 4 years ago. And when we started having meditations here, my whole neighborhood started calming down because mathematically, for every one heart that is open, over 1,000 people are affected by that love. So when I have 10 people here, that's 10,000 souls that are feeling this energy flowing to them. They may not understand it, but it's there. And by opening the heart, I guide you gently into opening the heart. And then we sit and it's quiet, and I have all the lights out except just a little light and very quiet. And I found out a long time ago when I started doing doing meditation, I always thought I was broken because when they'd say go into meditation, it was just black. And other people would say, oh, I saw this and I followed that and I came up on this, and I'm sitting there in this blackness. Many, many, many years later, a very wise person was saying, now, if you can get to the point where everything is just black, you are in the oneness. And I go, I'm not broken. I can just immediately go into the oneness. And I practiced for a long time, seeing if I could hold that energy open so other people could feel it. And then I started doing meditations here because I can hold that energy and everybody can feel that energy. And when you start having your participants say to you, well, couldn't we do this a little longer? Because I was just getting there, and so yes, we go deep, and then I'll bring you back.
That's beautiful. That's
And
beautiful. And you do light activations, you do energy clearings, you
yes,
help people with personal mastery awakening.
yes, all of this is it's. Someone asked me one time, well, am I getting too diversified? And I never wanted to do that. And when I was in massage, I didn't have a great big list of I do this, this, and this, and this, because you don't want to get diversified. But Reiki is the core of everything I do. And these are extensions. I've been doing light activation and never knew what it was for many, many, many years. And then somebody put a name to it, and I go, oh, okay, that's what I do. And I do a lot of, I get downloads a lot. When they come in, I either write them down or I say them. But I kind of go into a different place when I'm getting a download.
You know, I think you all of your life like an awakened and very light soul, wonderful soul. You've been guided because there are so many different ways that we can actually, and when we listen to our guidance, it's a bliss. And we are going to be put where we are supposed to be, right?
That's true. And sometimes when you get these messages that they want you to go in a different direction, you go, can't hear you. You're breaking up. What was that you said? And then one of my challenges was I have a very unique personality. And I thought, this personality doesn't quite go with being a spiritual person. And they just gently said, but it's on that personality that we can touch the people. So, they got what they get, or they get what they got. I don't know, but, I'm here. And
But I think that it's interesting that you say that because I think a lot of people think that if you're spiritual, you're supposed to be so sweet, kind, follow all your guidance. I follow my guidance, of course I do, but sometimes I also say, okay, I hear you, but not right now.
that's true.
So I think we also need to it's about being genuine, and I think you are genuine. You have that in you, and you have humor, On the other side is my experience too. They have the greatest sense of humor, and they
Oh,
don't
yes.
want us to worship them in the sense that we are going to church and we have to obey and we have to bend knees and everything. Just being who we are, of course, respect, but at the same time, having a bliss and having fun at the same time. Because I usually love to say that laughter is one of the most wonderful things we have, like a vibration, right? It can cut through a lot of things. Love is the highest of everything, but we need laughter too. We need to have fun.
Well, I like to think of myself as being reverently irreverent. And laughter, it's amazing. When a baby giggles, that very first giggle that they have, I was told that that's the sound of the angels. And one time, a person was making a recording, and somebody started laughing, and they couldn't stop. So everybody else started laughing, and they actually made a whole recording of laughter. Laughter changes the chemistry in your body. And when you laugh, you're bringing up all those, wonderful chemicals that are bringing the happiness and the joy. And it's such a great tool. It really is. And we do it a lot. We do it a lot.
We do it a lot. Yeah, we do. I'm going to start showing people where they can find you. So we are going to continue talking because I have a bliss here, to be honest. You are such a wonderful lady, such a wonderful energy, fun, everything. And you can find Corrine. You can learn more and connect with her at liquidenergyhealing.com. Liquid with a Q, right? Liquidenergyhealing.com. Or you can call her via phone. It's 480-250-1815. And I think it's easier if you just go to her website. You can find her email over there too. But it's her website is liquidenergyhealing.com. I'm still on the radio.
Yes, and that's great. Thank you. And the best email to find me is just lqenergy@yahoo.com. The one that's up here, the Gmail, I don't get that very often. So
Okay. So I think that it's a wonderful thing to talk about all of those things. And since everything is energy, see how things started with something and how it followed through. And I know you have been inspired by Louise Hay, James Redfield, Celestine Prophecy,
oh
and a lot of
yes,
other people, right? Deepak Chopra, Wayne Dyer.
these are all wonderful people that have come into my life. And it was interesting because I found that I came here to learn things first. And I'll discover something and I'll be immersed in it. And then lo and behold, I find somebody else that's doing this. So it's almost like a confirmation rather than them becoming my guru. And I am so lucky because that way I can be so diversified and not just say, okay, this is my only way of thinking and I can't move into another way of thinking. And the Celestine Prophecy, interesting because how we got together.
Yes.
I was in a parking lot getting ready to get into my car. And this crazy lady, Sue, comes up to me and goes, "Is that you? Is that you?" And I said, "Yes." She says, "I want you on my radio show." And I go, "Okay." And I'd follow through. And that's how we met.
Exactly.
And then we didn't have a chance to get together again. And then 2 years later, you come back into my life. So everything will fall into place if you just get out of the way.
Exactly. And you know what I usually tell people? There's no gain or benefit in pushing things because sometimes as human beings, we are very impatient, right? We want things to be not tomorrow. We want them an hour ago. So we don't
Correct.
have the patience to wait. But if we can grow a little bit of patience, and if we are unsure about something, take a step back instead. Be the observer. Let things unfold. You don't need to fight for it. It's going to come. It's going to unfold. Just like with the Celestine prophecy. And I think it's actually a great teaching thing to see. Read the books. There are 4 books, actually, because it's the Celestine prophecy. The
More
10th.
now. There's more now.
It's more now.
Yes. Yes. You know, the
Okay.
9th, the 10th, the 12th, Shambhala, and there's a lot. Yeah.
My journey with the Celestine prophecy started in Greece, actually, and it was the year 2000. And I had decided for myself, because I had experienced many things, and I have an open family, so that's not a problem. We talked about things my grandmother used to pull, playing cards, cartomancy, and things of that nature, right? So we talked about it, and I've seen ghosts, but I was so afraid when I was a kid. Not because they were dangerous or anything, because I didn't understand. And maybe we didn't talk deep about it, right? But I was afraid. And when I found a group of Swedish ladies living in Rhodes in Greece, 5, 6 in a group, and they had started already to read the Celestine prophecy. And my friend said to me, join us. And I did. And that's it.
Wow.
And I always say conscious, because it's a difference for me, most people have gifts in some way or another. And then it's our choice how to open them up, right? Some
Yes.
people don't want to, they close their gifts. But having gifts and starting to dig deep within, to start to figure out how things work spiritually, they go hand in hand, but they not always go together with the same person, right? Because sometimes people just want to use their gifts, but they don't want to develop themselves spiritually. Does that make sense?
Correct. And I always remember that in order to be a master of anything, you have to master yourself. You have to be willing to change. You have to be willing to see the dark side and be able to use it, because we're very unique, and we have many ways of touching someone. But first, we have to touch ourselves. We have to say, "Hey, I'm worth it. I want to be the best that I can be." And as I tell people in some of my classes, a pine tree never compares itself to a cactus. That
No.
pine tree becomes the best cactus, and the cactus becomes the best cactus. So you're only polishing your own diamond.
Yeah. And sometimes society and culture and family or whatever it is teaches us that it's egoistical to love yourself. It's egoistical to put yourself first. A lot of things
Oh
around that.
yes, we've been very well trained, because
Yes.
when we do start investing in ourselves, not in a vanity way, but investing in ourselves, then we become very powerful. And that is what the world is afraid of, to have the powerful light bearers out there. Because believe it or not, as sweet and kind as we are very, very much the warrior.
Yeah, we are.
We can take up that crystal sword anytime we need to. And sometimes it needs to be pulled out.
It does. So, sometimes we say we are sweet and kind, and we are sending all this love, and someone says something, and we say, hang on a minute.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm
Yeah. But we came here to experience being human. And for us to deny that we are human is kind of like denying us.
Yeah.
So this soul is having a wonderful time in this personality. And that's all I can say is It's really fun.
It is fun, but it's sometimes sad when you hear people. But I try to, even if it's funny, even if it's a psychic line, I love the fact that people do call and they want to answers that are deeper answers. I
That's
love
the
that.
first step.
Yes.
They have to ask the question, and eventually they'll get around to really asking big questions. But they have to ask the question.
And also, when people say, I can love others, but I have such a hard time loving myself. But you can't really love someone else for real either if you can't love yourself, can you?
That's true. And one thing, Louise, there was a song that came out that I sang constantly after my divorce. I love myself the way I am. There's nothing I need to change. I love myself the way I am. I just need to rearrange. And
Yes.
I went through so many tapes of that in the old days when you had the little cassette tapes. And I just listened to it because most times empaths are so busy loving everyone else, they forget to love themselves.
I'm
And
sorry, we had a helicopter passing by here.
I didn't even hear it on my end.
Good. Not much to do.
Yes.
Saying, can you park over there?
Well, my water heater was doing funny things, and I was afraid we were going to hear that rumbling all morning, but it finally settled down.
It's okay. Everything is always going to be okay because everything always turns out well. And I had this from because my story is also a little bit peculiar in a good way, in a positive way. I grew up with my great grandmother, and she was born 1895.
Wow.
So I've been in the 1800s, I've been in the 1900s, in the 2000s. So it's kind of a nice experience. But she was very, very modern in her ways. She was a widow, and she never remarried, but she was living with someone for over 40 years. And that was, in those days, that was
Pretty
not.
taboo. Yeah.
Yeah, it was bold to do that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's funny. Yeah.
But all of those wonderful experiences that make up you and uniquely you. And if people really understood that every individual is important in the fabric of life, and it's just like a cell in your body. If that cell isn't there, it's going to be missed. If you understand that you are part of this, it really gives you the incentive to make a difference.
Yes, and that's why we're here. And there are so many ways of making difference as well, because I get this question a lot. What is my purpose? And most people are thinking, I have to do something like what I do or what you do, but we can be a beacon of light in any area of life. Actually, it doesn't mean that we may have something that is considered a worldly work as well. We can spread the light there just by being there.
Yes.
So that's also a task. So don't compare yourself. That's what I want to bring out to people, to others. Like you talked about the cactus and the pine tree, right?
That's right. Yes.
Because we all have our own way, and it's going to reveal itself. If you feel unsure, it's going to reveal itself. And be bold sometimes. Take action steps, and sometimes that action step can be just daydreaming. This is what if I could play with whatever I want to do, whatever I would be passionate about, just dream big, be bold,
Be
have
bold.
courage.
Yes. Yes, I used to concern myself with, if I came here to assist people and I'm not really meeting the masses, I must not be doing what I'm supposed to be doing. And someone told me that if you're watching the little turtles, run to the water after they're born, and all kinds of things are happening, And you can't save them all. But if you maybe pick up one and get it to the water, to that one little turtle, that meant everything.
Yes.
So I may be just touching one person at a time. And I have a dear friend that told me that if you touch one person, then you're going to touch many, and
Yes.
not to worry about the ones that I don't touch. So it's a wonderful, wonderful gift she gave me. Yes.
But now you're here, and now you're going to be out
Now
there, and
it's,
now you're going to touch
I,
a lot of people. I
I think,
promise.
I think the world is ready for me now.
Yeah, I think they are. It's time. It's about
Yes,
time, isn't it?
it's about time.
Okay. Do you want us to give out your information again? How people can? I did put it up the email here where I can, if you say it, I can.
Okay, it's lqenergy@yahoo.com is the best one to get me at.
Okay.
But the phone number's up there, and that's wonderful. And yes.
Yeah. And I think if people go to your website, liquidenergyhealing.com, they can find the email address.
Correct.
Right?
Yes. So
And
I
your
am
phone
I am
number.
I am now connected. Thank you, Anna.
But you do, I have something else that I'm curious about. You do one-on-one or group sessions? You do group sessions as well, right?
Mostly it's one-on-one. That's been my forte. I have the meditation group that comes. Now, it's not just meditation. There's always something that comes through, a reading that comes through that I'll give to people, or we'll be talking about something about changing how they can live in the world as empaths. So it's really a classroom after the meditation, because I can't just say, okay, we did this, now go away. There you have to have something to pull it together. So it's much more than meditation.
That's wonderful. So, do you have anything more you would like to say? Talk about something we didn't cover?
I'm I'm
I,
I'm
I, I know
I'm
something.
listening right here to see if they want me to say anything. So,
Okay.
what were you going to say?
Yeah, the part where I know that you also are trying to reach out to parents, because if you go to the source, I love that part, then
Yes.
they are going to be good, better versions of themselves, right? The best they
Yes.
can to bring
That's
them
why
to the
that's
child.
why that intimacy class was so important, because if two human beings, especially male and female, which are very different, learn how to really have that true giving, then when they bring children into the world, the children are going to be raised in that same frame. And then they're going to go out and touch people. And it just goes and goes and goes and goes. So it's so important to learn how to really be authentic. And that's
Yes,
really a challenge for people. So that's part of what I encourage them to be is themselves, and trust that.
because it life gets easier, and sometimes we complicate things for ourselves because we are. It's like we put on costumes for each thing in life we want to do because we have been taught that way. We're not to punish ourselves for it, because that's also wrong, right? Love yourself, but be aware of it, right?
That's very true. And the more that you live in joy and love and awareness, your own vibration goes up. And when you start moving in the higher vibrations, when challenges come to you, you have a whole different way of working with them. They don't set you into a depression. They don't, stop you in your tracks. And bringing your own vibration up is so very important. And that's what this is all about, is living in the now, living in the joy, seeing the beauty, watching a child be a child, because the child is still in awe. Everything is like fantastic. And when you start looking at things, if you're looking at a leaf and you really see the veins in that leaf, and you watch that little caterpillar just like a child does, you just mesmerized by the simplicity of and the beauty of things. Then you start seeing those things in everything, and it makes life a whole lot easier, because as humans we still go through the knocks and the bumps and the ups and the downs, but it's a whole different attitude, and you
It
don't get
is.
knocked off the horse as much. So
No, and I usually say something else as well, because we can't, not everything is in our hands to manage in this world, right?
no,
But we have something, and that is our power, our response.
that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
And sometimes being stubborn can be really good.
Very well, tenacious. We're not stubborn. We don't not change our mind, but we're very tenacious. We hang on to things, and
Yes.
good, tenacious, and loyal. Good qualities to have. I
Yeah,
know.
they are.
Being a redhead, they always say, "Well, you must have a fiery temper." And I said, "No. However, if I need to get something done, you better stay out of my way."
You say, move over there. I'm going to have to pass here.
Exactly. Coming through.
But because you are secure in yourself as well, and you are in alignment with yourself, and that is what this is about too. But it's a process, so there's no quick fix. But you made it.
I've been working on this for a lot of years. And refining some of the rough edges and moving forward. So, but it's the journey, and every single moment there is something magnificent that happens. The beauty that is given to us daily that we either choose to see or we choose not to see, and that's the difference. That's the difference when you go out into the world.
Yes, it is. It's like a little bit like the glass half full or half empty.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. But always remember, ancient saying, you cannot pour tea from empty teapot. So if you do not take time to make the tea, you have nothing to give. So all of those beautiful people out there that are givers, they need to give to themselves. They need to fill themselves before they have anything to give to anyone else.
Yes, and that is important.
Very, very, very important.
So, what do you say? Do you want to say something more here?
At this time, I'm not being given anything that I need to say at this time, but I'm hoping that I see you another time and we might get something from the other dimensions. So
we are going to do that again, okay?
Well,
if you want to. I sound like I'm directing you.
Well, you are my director, and I have this feeling that's been coming around, and you've been kind of hinting that I may be, coming back again soon. So I'm looking forward to that.
I have a feeling that you will, and that's going to be a bliss, like it have been today, right?
Yes, with all of the technical challenges that I have on my end. Yes, I'm amazed.
No, you're good. You're good. We all have technical issues sometimes. And for me personally, my laptop doesn't like when I change country, and I do travel between Sweden and Greece, right? So each and every time I try to prevent it if I can, cleaning out the computer in the ways you can clean files and stuff of that nature, restarting it, cleaning out, doing whatever I can. But I couldn't get on when I came here. So I had to make the show the day after. So things happen.
Well, it really keeps us out of trouble, doesn't it?
So again, I'm going to put this up again so we can see. And there's a better email address here, right? But you can find Corrine at www.liquidenergyhealing.com and phone from the US. If you're out of country, it's +1 first. But
Correct.
It's 480-250-1815. And you can give the email.
Is LQenergy @yahoo.com.
Yes. Okay.
Very simple.
Very simple. So we had a really nice. Thank you for honoring me with your presence.
Well, it has been a delight, and I may stay in this exotic bliss that you have given me for quite a while. So thank you. I'm enjoying this.
I think I enjoy it more. Now we're going to have that spiritual war here. Who's enjoying most?
That's true. Yes.
I'm just kidding. So you have been watching us here, Anne and Corinne Mooney at Cosmic Guardians pre-recorded video today. And we have enjoyed very much to listen to Corinne Mooney, who has, again, a gold mine of experience and stories and things she can help you with. She's very experienced and knows exactly what she's doing. And of course, she's a master of herself as well, because that is the foundation, right? With self-mastery first. And our next live will be on Wednesday, April 3rd, 2024, and we will have another special guest, and this time from Australia. This is going to be Bob Eden, and we will talk about his personal story and how you can simplify your life. This is going to be another wonderful approach, right? He's also very deeply spiritual, and I know that. And he's also from the radio Soul Sisters show on Scrolls of the Soul Radio. So he had been there. I don't think we had him as a guest, but he used to call in. And I just, it's nice to have different ways of seeing things and different perceptions. And we will be coming live a few hours later than usual. So we go live in Greek time, that is 8 p.m. So probably 3 hours later, because it's difficult to find a good timing when we are around the globe. So I'm happy we didn't have to find a time with Arizona and Greece and Australia. I have been through that before. We had a soul sister in Melbourne too. And someone has to wake up early in the morning, but we're going to figure it out. So we're going to be live, and you can follow Cosmic Guardians on Facebook, join the group and watch me and every beautiful person who wants to come on, no matter how they come on, right? Like Corinne, and I know that Corinne is going to come on again. I'm sure about that. So we're going to enjoy her company again. So you can find us at facebook.com/groups/Cosmic Guardians. And thank you for watching Cosmic Guardians again, and see you next week. Love, light, peace, and joy.
Thank you. Thank you.